What is going on, guys? It is Atomic from the Snap Mania, and the Days of Future Past announcement has happened like a few hours ago. There's even a cool video that Marvel Snap has released on YouTube. You should check it out. But there's been announcements of new cards, new hot locations, and I think we should give it a quick review so that everyone is well prepared for the meta ahead, which is apparently gonna be very destroy themed. So NIMROD is a 5 energy, 5 power card with the ability of when this is destroyed you add a copy to each other location. So basically it's an Arnim Zola effect, but it's actually better since it can trigger off of anything of being destroyed. You can get Carnage, you can get Venom, you can even Arnim Zola to create 10 power across 2 other locations, but I don't think it's really that strong. I think it's a good effect, but I think for 5 mana you could be doing stuff like Leech, which just instantly wins you the game. You can play Sarah, which just lets you turbo out your entire hand. While Nimrod just kind of sits there like an idiot, and he is very telegraphed. If you're gonna play 5 mana, 5 power on your turn 5, the opponent just has to stop your line of Arnim Zola-ing the Nimrod, or they just win across the other 2 locations and then Nimrod is kind of useless. But if you find a way to get Nimrod early on the board with stuff like Wave, I keep forgetting, Psylocke, it could turbo him out 1 turn early, and maybe that's what you really need to get Nimrod going, especially with cards like Sandman, who are also 5 mana, 5 power. Now everyone will say Electro Ramp could use Nimrod, but I think Electro Ramp will use way better combos besides Nimrod. He's a build-around tool, he's very fun to play, he's not that competitive, but I think he is a very fun card that a lot of people will certainly start loving, and they will start playing Destroy decks, which means Death Wave will be even more relevant than it already is. Next up we have one more controversial card because it was announced as being Series 5, and that's Kitty Pryde. You can return this to your hand and gain +2 power. My god, I can't believe they're releasing this as a Series 5. This card is incredibly good. You can play this to just trigger locations. This is like one of the best cards I've ever seen. I know people would say it's just a Nightcrawler that you can use every turn. But it's a Nightcrawler you can use every turn. This card can get huge if you draw it on your first turn. It can get up to 10 power across the entire game. You can trigger Angela, you can trigger locations. You remember that feature location that we had, the Space Throne, where you were just getting Green Goblin? You can play this there, just keep bouncing it, and the opponent can't do anything about it. This card is way too strong. And I think this card will be basically a staple in most things, because she's just really good. Yeah, if you draw her late, she's bad. But the point is, the card, if you draw it turn 1, is so good that I don't understand how they released it with just, it's a 0 power. It doesn't even have a downside. This card is just way too strong, and I don't think it should have been a Series 5, especially since it's so strong. This is a card that most players should have, and it should be, I think, Series 4, Pool 4, or at least Pool 3, so we can at least try it out since it's so game-warpingly strong. On the other hand, we have a card that got buffed, that being Negasonic Teenage Warhead. After any card is played here, destroy this card and that card. I think that because she got a buff, that she's a free energy 4 power card, I think that is decent, but I think that she'll only be good in Knull decks. Or people would say now, yeah, but you could play her with Nimrod. Well, you could play Nimrod with so many other cards, and I think you'd have a better sense of a combo, since it can get interrupted by the opponent just saying, no, I'm playing my Wasp over there, and suddenly you're blown out and you've lost free energy on a Wasp. So I think Negasonic Teenage Warhead is okay. She's not the best, most definitely. It's also a Series 5 card. She can ruin the chance of you getting Galactus. And that, I think, is her strongest power, at ruining your pity. But, alright, she's not that bad. I think she can make some interesting decks. And she can be actually useful if you're already winning a location. But she can also be kind of a problem if the opponent suddenly plays something to give it power from across another location, such as Kalar Mr. Fantastic. So, not bad, not the best either. And finally we have Master Mold. He's a 2 energy, 2 power card, where on reveal he adds 2 sentinels to your opponent's hand. This, I think, is a very strong effect. Now people would say, yeah, but I don't know, understand how this could be strong. Well, it clogs your hand. That means you have to play garbage like Sentinel, which really limits your hand size. This is the first card in the hand size archetype that's not Black Widow, and Black Widow is already annoying as hell because she takes up 1 thing on your locations. This takes up 2 things in your opponent's hand. And that is very annoying, as most people will find out. So, and this is also another Series 5 card, and it's also kind of strong, which I understand they're supposed to sell, like, the Series 5 cards and the token bundles, but this I don't think is really how you should practice your monetization. Everything being Series 5 on release is just very... It's a slippery slope. Suddenly everything will be Series 5 and then we won't be able to try any of the new cards. It'll be like, yay, cool, I got Kitty Pryde from whatever her name is. Maria Hill, great. Like, that's the only way you'll be able to try these cards out. And especially it's good because this time we can finally say one thing. The new Series 5 cards can't compare to the originals because Kitty Pryde is really strong. Negasonic Teenage Warhead is alright. And Master Mold is, I think, strong. If I would give them a rating, I would give Kitty Pryde 5 cubes out of 5. I would give Negasonic Teenage Warhead like 2.5 cubes out of 5. And I'd give Master Mold 4 cubes out of 5. We also have 3 new locations, one being Orcus Forge. After you play a card here, you add a Sentinel to your hand. So this is a fine location. I think it can be kind of annoying, especially with the hand size problem that you face sometimes. And Master Mold being as powerful as he is, I think this can really clog up your hand and then suddenly you're drawing garbage. You can't replace it because you're getting only Sentinels into your hand. But sometimes you just draw well, so I don't think Orcus Forge will be really that much of an issue. But it will be an interesting location to maybe, I don't know, if it ever gets featured, oh god, this location will be kind of annoying. Asteroid M is a location where after you play a 3 or 4 cost card, move it here. I think this is interesting. It requires you winning early, so because you can't play 3 or 4 drops on turns basically 3 and 4 as long as Asteroid M is over there, means you have to win the other locations early. But if this gets revealed early, it's not big of an issue, because if you're playing a zoo deck with like Kazar and other stuff, it could be fine. I think Asteroid M is a very interesting location when it comes to can you really manage to make use of the moving effect. I mean, there are cards. Vulture with this is pretty good. Or, I don't know, yeah, Vulture, I guess. He's a pretty interesting thing you could use with Asteroid M. We have, for the final location that was revealed, we have Krakoa. And Krakoa is really interesting because on turn 5 it takes over and plays both players' cards for them. Before this used to say on turn 6 it takes over and plays both cards for both players, which would have been so tilting. I don't understand how that was even a design in the files. I think that was like a early April Fool's joke by Ben Brode. But on turn 5, it's not that bad. An ego effect is really annoying usually, but it could also be kind of fun as it can screw the opponent up as well. But imagine it just playing stuff that really requires, I don't know, some setup. So imagine you're playing White Tiger, and on your board you have like 2 on reveal cards on a location that you're trying to Odin. Like, you're trying to double up all the effects, and then it suddenly plays White Tiger on the Space Throne and you just die. Like, that would be so tilting. I don't understand why they design locations like this, but it can also be fun. Well, Krakoa would have been way worse if it was on turn 6, which means the AI of Agatha Harkness could harness its big brain and say, yes, playing leader right was the right call. So guys, that's been the entire Days of Future Past update. I think the new meta will be very much something with Kitty Pryde. Master Mold could see a kind of a resurgence in the giving your opponent garbage gimmick. And I think that NIMROD is very fun. I'll be playing a ton of him. but I don't think he's that good. I think he's decent, but I don't think he'll be a big shot in the meta decks. But hey, him, Knoll, Venom, Carnage, they could make a really fun deck that I think you guys will really like to try out. So look forward to more Snap Mania. I have been Romek, and thanks for watching.